right, Julia, good to have you back, and welcome back, everyone. I know the 15, 20 minutes or so before with Julia just wasn't enough. So I've got some questions that I wanted to ask. Julia, the first thing is, I don't know, maybe it's evolved over time and stuff. How long did, I think you said you're in the game for 10 years now. You've been involved in network marketing for 10 years. Wow, you got so much experience for over 10 years, because you've gone through mergers and transitions and changes, and you got a lot. You got a lot of you got a lot of stories to tell. How long did it take you to realize, man, I need a system?
I mean, we had a system at the time, but it was only in person in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of was like, man, I felt like a little bit of the black sheep. I was like, I think we can kind of do this also online. Like, let's do both, And it was just like laughed at, or just, not necessarily laughed at, but no one had done it mostly in the industry at least at 10 plus years ago, or at least, reels weren't even around then. How crazy to even think, And we had like a Facebook group, and I'm like, I think we can do this. And so I just started to create more systems. Like, I used the guides. Like, Facebook was like the first like online thing with the guides and the ATM stuff and all of that, and like recorded videos, and then like Zoom came out. So it kind of evolved. And then I ended up building, the biggest business in my whole company, through all the challenges and changes. We just continued to grow. And I was just relentless. I was like, I just kind of had a vision, like, when it's just like maybe ignorance on fire, but like you're like, just had this dream and vision. You're like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but like, I just believe that we can do this. And it did. And it's really evolved over there. So I would say probably about into a year. Cause the first year it was just like, go, let's do this. I hit 6 figures pretty quickly. And then, you want to then that next level and that next scale and that next duplication. And so I realized like there wasn't training portals for leadership, right? Like, it was just your live call only, and that was it, which is great. But what if I wanted to learn how to increase my closing rate or increase my level, how to present? I was terrible at everything. I had no social media following. I was a terrible presenter. I mean, all the things. If you met me almost 10 years ago, you'd be like, she's not going to make it. It's not going to happen for her. But I just kept showing up and getting 1% better every day. And so, yeah, probably about a year.
It's okay. So but it was fast, right? It was fast. So like, it's funny what you said just then, because I have conversations, I would say every day, with leaders or high level builders who think they're leaders, but they're not just yet, right? So like, because we overuse the word leaders in network marketing, right? There's
there's leaders and there's earners.
Right. There's leaders and there's earners, there's builders and there's earners, like there's all sorts, right? So they say a lot of the times is, why can't I just find someone just like me? And my response to that is, well, would you get excited about the person who you were when you first started, or are you trying to find someone wwho you are 10 years down the line? They're like, I guess I'm trying to find the person who I am 10 years down the line. It's like, great, because there's loads of people just like you, but you've completely forgotten who that person was, what woke them up, what got them excited, what their trigger points were, what their external beliefs were, what their internal beliefs were. Go figure it out. It's not that difficult. So you mentioned earlier that you're doing some stuff with AI, and you're like, oh, we'll talk about it later. And I know a lot of people get like, right? Like, about AI, like, oh, I'm so excited. It's like this, the hack, it's the secret, it's the magic. Like, I love AI. I think it's amazing. I think it's a great way to use as a sidekick or an assistant, or to not to replace us. Like, so how are you guys using it?
Well, right now, so we're building out think of like a chat GPT for your team, and only for scripts, everything. So like a one-stop shop, because there's what's the best document for this, or what's the best video for this. And so we have a lot of our content is in boards, just kind of as a one-stop shop outside of our members area. But now we're just feeding this brain of every single absolute question that you will ever have from an NPOM, newest possibility of momentum, right? That newest leader coming in. That so it acts as basically it's an assistant for all of my leaders and potential leaders, and new people coming in of like, maybe their mentor is asleep because they're 24, different time of the world. I don't know. And they need to find this question. And rather than have any frustration, maybe trying to find it or whatever, we're building out basically everyone's personal assistant for the business. And it is super cool.
Yeah. I think
But it's
as
a
well.
tool. It's just a tool, it's a sidekick.
Yeah. It's like them digging a hole with a spade instead of digging it with their hands, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it gets so sore, my fingers are hurting, it's so slow, and then there's someone just going, hey, this is great, like all the way to Australia, like, woohoo.
Yes.
It's the power of a tool, it's power of a system. So then, okay, because there's a lot of people watching this who don't have a system, they don't use AI.
Sure.
Now that you've got the system, because it takes a bit of time as well, right, to evolve it and get it to a point where you're like, okay,
a lot of labor of love over the years.
Yeah, right. Which is yeah, and now all the commission checks are way overtaking the investments that have been made financially, time, money, stress, energy, whatever. Do you find that you work hard is maybe not the right word, but you work more now because you're like, I've got to feed this beast. Like I've got this magical system. If not, I'm going to get the whole world inside of this. Or is it more, there's so much leverage there, and you've made it so much easier for the team that you're like, actually, I can work a little bit less and I'm still going to get the results. Like, which way is it? Because for me, my personality type, the second, right?
Yeah, because sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Because you know the answer, right? Like I'm waffling.
Yeah, the second. I mean, and I have to, because I started this business without kids. So I also had more time to but those first year or 2 years, like I was putting out, like we were, it was nonstop, right? But I was able to build a lifestyle that then allowed me to do more things that I love and brought me joy. And so, but there's also seasons. Like right now, one of the biggest months of my career, literally, it's been absolutely insane, but it's a season, right? It's not like ate to faint, for 3 years. Like that's not what this business and industry ever has to be about. It's literally about having massive intention and really just doing the things that are going to move the needle. There's a lot of people, and I've been there, that are in mental momentum, right? They're just like, oh, I'm scrolling, I'm collecting, and they never actually post. They're not in the DMs. They're not getting any people in front of the information. They're professional event attenders, right? And they read all the books, they watch but they don't take action, right? And there's seasons for that sometimes where we got to snap ourselves out and be like, okay, let's get back to what actually makes money, that creates freedom, that creates impact for my family, right? And so nowadays it's more like, I mean, I'm very competitive, like I want the best, I want to be the best, I want to attract the best, I want to, have the best for my team. So there's always that drive there, but I get to choose, so I don't start calls until noon or 1 o'clock every day. This is, it's a little bit earlier for me, but right now, but I just love you, and I'm,
so grateful.
But I'm very intentional there. I have to protect my time. So like 7 to 9, it's just with my kids and my family in the mornings for sure, non-negotiable. Not that there's seasons that throw me off. Yeah. And then at nighttime as well. So I have this block of window and I get it all done in those times as much as I can, right? It's not perfect. My life is absolutely wild in all the fun ways, but that's because I designed it. And that's what I love about this industry is you get what you allow. And whatever you want your team to look like, your community to look like, your system to look like, your relationships to look like, I believe you can truly design that with massive intention behind it and 100% consistency.
And you also have a massive amount of trust in the system and the people who are using the system, right?
Of course. And now I have people that I hire. I mean, I have a tech team and a VA and a project manager, but do I need that? No, but that allows me to also have more freedom to do things that I love. And I've built a lifestyle to where, I think just like these events, like you have to put money back into your business. Just because you earn the car doesn't mean you get the car. Just because you're making 30, 50 grand a month or $5,000 a month doesn't mean you spend that much, right? So I've always been putting it back in my organization, back into my team, back into personal development, and actually treating it like a business. Because if you treat it like a business, you'll get paid like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, you'll get paid like a hobby.
I remember you mentioned the car program. It cracks me up because I remember one of my friends. He joined a company. He didn't join me. He was like, I value our friendship so much that I don't want to get into business together. It was just like we both grew up that way, like entrepreneurial families, like don't do business together. That was just the old school mentality. Very different now, I truly believe. But he joined another company and he reached a level where he got a car program. And he'd had the car for a month and he come round to the house and says, hey, I got the car. Where's yours? Because we didn't have a car program. And I said, well, how many miles have you done? And he said, that's a weird question to ask. Like, I've just bought, you don't want to ask how fast it is, like, what's the engine? I went, no, how many miles have you done? He said, well, why are you asking that? I said, well, I want to know, now that you've got the car, how many trips to go see your team have you actually done? Because you don't need to impress me, you need to impress your team. Say, hey, look at the car that I won or I earned in the company. He looked at me and was like, yeah, since I won the car, I've done less work. I've been driving.
Right.
Yeah, I've been driving to like, go
I
to
made it. I
places.
made it. It's like, wait, what?
Right. I was just like, you just reminded me of that I just completely forgot. Now I need to text him being like, hey, how many miles on the car now? Right. So I love it. So I love your brain. I love your way of doing things. I love that you also are really cranking and growing like outside of the US as well.
Mhm.
We got a lot of people we obviously got a lot of people on this summit who are from all over the world, and a lot of people from outside of the US look into the American leaders and go, yeah, but it's all right for you because it's all in English and everyone high fives and joins a team in Walmart in their pajamas and
No,
like everyone's so positive and like, yeah, but it's
no.
different in Czech Republic, it's different in France, it's different. So like how how have you been able to how have you been able to navigate that and work that with your system with like different languages, different cultures, different leaning back instead of how have you navigated that?
Yeah, well, we think the same thing about other countries. Like, oh man, France, like and I love France. I'm like, people are so friendly and they love to gather and they have all this time. They have like 3 hours for lunch. Oh my gosh, you can do so many more meetings. If you're lucky to get an American down for 15-minute cup of coffee, like that's super rare. They must really like you. I mean, so in our opinion, right, with other countries, it's actually the same thing, which is so interesting that you say that. So, you know, I love building international. I've been to over, I don't know, 44 countries now. I used to live in Germany in Stuttgart, bisschen Deutsch. That's about it. But, I love to travel. And that's one of the beautiful things of this industry is you can, I've always had a vision of where I want to build. And I've literally had built in every country I've wanted to build except for Italy. But
Ah,
anyway, so we do use AI to translate videos. Like, for example, right now we're building in the Czech Republic, right? So I don't speak the language. So we had to, within like 48 hours, translate all these videos, leveraging AI really quickly until we can get videos with, the leaders there up and running, right? And so that's another way I use AI. I mean, listen, ChatGPT is the best. Like, you don't need,
yeah.
like, what I built out, great, but ChatGPT, like, just get, there's other platforms like it. That's just get used to that, right?
Yeah.
But we do use an AI platform for that to translate languages, whether it's in the boards with my project manager, we'll translate that. I have actually a call tomorrow. I'm starting to work with a girl that's building a big Latino team. I don't speak Spanish. I'm Puerto Rican. I don't speak any Spanish, but we can start to get those things translated. So, with the system that I use now with onboarding, again, it's just about A, keeping it simple, B, with tools these days, you can knock out things pretty quickly. But I also want to say, if you're on this and maybe you're new or you're like, I always want to build in this country, you also have to be very committed to the time zones. You have to have a leader that just, you got to really develop that leader or have a leader ready to go. It takes a lot of effort. It's front end sweat equity, but the long term in the relationships, I think, and, is really cool. So I totally forgot your question.
No. It was spot on. It was like how you have you evolved the system. Like, okay, so there's two ways you could have gone, and I feel that what you're doing is definitely the right way. Number one is, but they're different in Czech Republic. They're not going to watch a Zoom call. They're not. So we're going to have to build a whole new system just for Czech Republic. And then the other way is, no, our system works. Like people are people are people are people. Like,
Right.
so we translate the videos and, you still have to learn people skills and understand how to prospect and not poach, prospect and post, how to peak, how to present, how to pass.
Right.
Like, the
Same
system's
thing.
a system, right? McDonald's is the same in Switzerland and Czech Republic and
Right.
Italy and the US, right? So yeah, I feel it's
But
amazing.
we say that too. Like, we're like, man, like, Europeans, they love to gather and do dinners, and like the
Yeah.
Americans, they just want to be online, and they don't even know how to I mean, it's just you're always going to have the excuses and the assumptions. At the end of
Mhm.
the day, people are people. They want to feel seen. They lack hope. They're living in loneliness. They want
Mhm.
community. They want to feel better. They want to mentor. They want to learn all the school things that school doesn't teach them. Like, they're hungry for knowledge and more. And if we can offer that. It doesn't matter what country they're in. You just need to know how to communicate in their
Mhm.
language.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. I've done this exercise a few times over the years around the world where I would have people write on a piece of paper where their dream prospect or where their dream team member would live, right?
Hmm.
And they would write it down on a piece of paper. And then I said, above that, I want you to write down where you live. Like, not the full address, just like their city or their town. And it's crazy. Over the years, I've done that. And I kind of can't do it now because everyone's going to watch this. And if they've heard me say it, then they know the answer. But I think it's a good training point. I don't ever think I've ever had anyone match the two places.
Mm.
It's, I live in New York and I want a team in London. It's like people want a reason not to be close to the team, or they want, like, oh, Paris. I always wanted to go to Paris. Like, your dream team member should live in the house next to you
I
or in
agree.
the apartment below you or above you. Like, start there
Mhm.
and you will learn so much. There will be so
Yes.
much growth that happens when you are
Yes.
holding someone's hand every single day, and it will
Yes.
give the experience and success needed in order to go
Mhm.
to Prague in the Czech Republic or Paris in France or Tallinn in Estonia and learn how to get someone launched off there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's way
it's
easier. 10
yeah.
times easier.
Do you use HeyGen, the AI HeyGen for translating the videos?
Let me
You know
find
what you
let me find out, actually.
I can tell the guys as well. Like, HeyGen is like
I
hey,
feel like we might.
and then GEN, so like generation. So hey Gen, it will move your mouth a little bit
Yeah.
and change the language so it sounds I sound really funky in Swedish. It's like it's weird. It's like it just sounds so freaking weird. Kind of cool. It makes me want to learn. What makes me want to learn Swedish? But yeah, for those of you out there who want to translate into different languages, you've got friends who don't speak your language, whatever. Then Hey Gen is a really cool one.
I'm gonna find out.
To go find.
I just
Yeah,
just make
no,
sure. Yeah.
it's all cool. I think, like, hey, if not Hey Gen, it's going to be something that does the same thing. Um, Julia, this has been amazing. I guess my last question. I don't have like a last question that I ask everyone because everyone's different, right? Um, with your systems, what do you feel has been like the biggest challenge? Has it been like people not adopting it, people being resistant to it, people not doing enough of it? Like, what do you feel has been like the biggest challenge with the system that you have? Because obviously, as network marketers, we all want that system, that, like, oh, give me the step by step, let me leverage something, da, 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 da. But I know that everything that we believe to be perfect still comes with its challenges.
Mhm.
Um, and I also love that we create a little bit of tough times and hard times to create the tough people, the strong people, you
Yes.
know? So what do you think's been like the biggest challenge?
Yes. Challenges create champions.
Yes, that's true. Give them all the
So,
challenges.
I think right now, what I've seen, like right now, we just brought in a ton of like doctors and health pros, and we're like
Mhm.
building out a new onboarding, like a new welcome, because they're not wanting to maybe do the MLM side, right? Or the network marketing. It's like they're just a different breed. So I think what's so interesting right now, but it's also very exciting, but also very challenging, is
Mhm.
how somebody wants to build. How they usually come in is how they want to build, right? If they're
Mhm.
coming in from an in-person event, they kind of want to maybe build like that. If they're coming in from a reel, to a video, to then a Zoom call, like that's probably how they want to build. Not that that won't change, but it's like that exposure, right? And so I think one of the biggest challenges, I would say, is making sure that the systems that they're coming into is indeed what's going to motivate them on how they do want to build. So I think we're in a really cool place.
Yeah.
I was just, it's an AI app. Sorry, I was trying to get the name of the app.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. It's all good.
So I think one of the challenges right now, but it's exciting, is that we have there's your networkers that want to build community events. And I love to do events. That's like my jam. We've done marriage retreats, all the things. So cool. And then you have your social sellers that they just want to post. They want to swipe up, they want the community, they want the events. And that's just a different build. So one of the challenges is really just creating systems and tools, to meet them where they're at of how they do want to build. I think I know, and you would probably agree, is in-person events, just like community retreats, conventions, whatever, that will never go away as the most powerful way to build retention, community, relationships, experiences. Like, that is my jam. That is... Yeah. And how cool is that, right? But you can use high tech and high touch together. And so that's been one of the challenges, I think, of having just, two different groups that want to build the network marketing side versus the social seller side. And we've done a really great job, but it's ever evolving, And so, yeah, I think that would probably be, but no matter what, people are people. It doesn't matter what company you're in, what phase of business, no matter what system you have, not everyone's going to do it. They're just there. And that's why events are going to build retention, right? What does event stand for? Like, elevates vision, eliminates negative thoughts, or something like that. Yeah. That's everything. So no matter what system that you have or anyone has, they still have to plug in my opinion, to an event, because they won't be able to lead until they believe. And, you could have Tony Robbins on a call every week. Something's got to click for them to decide, right? Which means to kill off, in Latin, to kill off the excuses, to kill off the negative beliefs of why they can't do it. And that's definitely not going to go away, I don't think. But
no, 100%. And I think now we're living in a time. It's an interesting time, because it's probably the only time in network marketing history where there are definitely two groups of people. There are the first group who want to do it online and not really interested in doing it offline. They just want to social sell, as you mentioned, social sell. The second group are the people who, I need to touch people every month. Like, when's the next convention? When's the next event? I'm going to bring people. So I think, I feel that is definitely a challenge that's coming up in systems, is how do we cater for the online builders and the in-person builders? And the reality of it is whether you're building online or you're building offline, in-person, social media, people is the answer. Master the art of people, master the emotional intelligence. You will be a better person for it outside of network marketing, and you'll have a bigger business because of it inside of network marketing. So, Julia, you are amazing. What's your social media? I mean, I know it, but what's your social media handle for people to go find you, follow you, say thank you, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, no, it's Julia M, as in Marie Thornhill. So Julia M.
Marie. Nice. Go on. I appreciate you.
Oh, I found the name. 11 Labs IO.
11 Labs. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, 11 Labs.
Okay, so is the other one better? Do I need to tell them?
No. Hey,
I don't know.
Like one of them. Red apples, green apples, sort of thing, Yeah. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Likewise.